Ralts is getting a Community Day Classic, and this Pokemon evolves into two of our strongest megas in Pokemon Go, so it's not one you want to miss. Let me get you guys ready, give you guys the best tips to maximize on this Community Day, and cover a couple things you can do on this Comm Day that I don't really see anybody else talking about. Let's get into it. Okay, this Comm Day is January 25th from 2 to 5 p.m. your local time, in which Ralts will be spawning everywhere in the wild in Pokemon Go during that time with a shiny rate of 1 in 25. This is the highest shiny odds you will ever see for this Pokemon, so this is the best time to get the shiny. Bonus event will also have quarter egg hatch distance for any eggs you incubate during the time frame, not any old eggs. It's not going to switch over. 2 times catch Stardust, 3-hour incenses, and 3-hour lure modules. Do note the incense will not include daily adventure incense, and the lures will not include golden lures. You can also take 5 snapshots during the event to get photobombed by 5 Ralts, which just means you're going to get 5 extra Ralts encounters on the map. And you can evolve Curlia, Ralts' evolution, into a Gardevoir to get the legacy charge attack Synchronize, or you can evolve a male Curlia into Gallade to get the charge attack Synchronize. Do note you can make these evolutions until 10 p.m. to get this legacy move, and we'll cover if it's any good in a bit. We'll have exclusive Pokestop showcases during the event, including Ralts, Gardevoir, and Gallade, as well as event research. Specifically, we'll have the event field research task, catch 3 Ralts. We can get you either Pokeballs, berries, or an encounter with Ralts, in which 231 is going to be the 100% IV. And there will also be rarer field research tasks that can get you encounters with Ralts with the dual Destiny season background. These tasks will include complete 3 party challenges, trade a Pokemon, and win a level 5 or higher raid. They're definitely rarer and harder to do, but they get you that exclusive background. There'll be a free timed research during the event that can get you 4 free Sinnoh Stones, which are going to be necessary to evolve your male Curlias into Gallades, so I highly recommend you complete that, as well as the Community Day continued timed research, which will be available for 5 days after the event, where you need to catch a Pokemon on 5 different days, and completing this will get you an encounter with the Ralts with the dual Destiny background. The research continues with a $2 USD timed research you can go ahead and buy, or this will be converted to whatever your currency is. Complete this research and you can get some premium items like a raid pass, rare candy XL, and more, as well as 3 encounters with a Ralts with the dual Destiny background. So a lot of opportunities to get those backgrounds because those are pretty rare. Okay, should you play this event or not? Let's talk about it. And honestly, the short answer is yes. In terms of meta relevance as a raid attacker, Gardevoir is actually the number 7 fairy type attacker in Pokemon Go and number 38 psychic type attacker. Meanwhile, Shadow Gardevoir is the number 2 fairy type attacker in Pokemon Go and number 20 psychic type raid attacker. And Mega Gardevoir is the number 1 fairy type attacker in Pokemon Go and number 8 psychic type attacker. Switching over onto the Gallade side, you're looking at the number 55 fighting type attacker and 37 psychic type attacker. Shadow Gallade is the number 35 fighting type attacker and 19 psychic type attacker. And Mega Gallade is the number 10 fighting type attacker and 7 psychic type attacker. So as you can see all across the board, these Pokemon are very, very strong. But what about for PvP? Are these Pokemon any good there? Well, Gardevoir in the regular form is going to be ranked 482 in the Great League, 415 in the Ultra League, and 175 in the Master League. So not that great. Shadow Gardevoir is going to be ranked number 323 in the Great League, 369 in the Ultra League, and 136 in the Master League. So not that great. But a hidden thing about Shadow Gardevoir no one mentions is that it is good in the Willpower Cup and limited cups when different Pokemon are banned, where it is a top meta staple there. So that Great League ranking is not exactly accurate. In terms of Gallade, you're looking at rank 125 in the Great League, 170 in the Ultra League, and 130 in the Master League. Meanwhile, Shadow Gallade is probably the best of it all, ranked 52 in the Great League, 106 in the Ultra League, and 186 in the Master League. Shadow Gallade is very, very strong in the Great League if played properly. So these Pokemon, although they're more raid focused, are still pretty good in PvP. Okay, so we know these Pokemon are good. So how do we get the good IVs for these Pokemon? Because we want to make sure we're powering up good IVs of these Pokemon to take full advantage. Well, on screen is Ralts' perfect IV chart, which will show you the CP Ralts is going to be if it's 100% IV from level 1 all the way to level 50. Now, obviously, not all these numbers are going to be useful for us. There's only a couple we want to look at. First of all, any Ralts collected from research, as we mentioned before, are always caught at level 15. So 231 CP is going to be the 100% IV for a Ralts caught from a research task. If you're catching Ralts in the wild in non-weather boosted conditions, when Ralts doesn't have that little circle around it, it will be caught at level 30. So 462 CP is going to be the highest CP you could find a Ralts in the wild in non-weather boosted conditions, pretty much guaranteeing that CP to be a hundo in the wild. Now, if you are playing in windy or cloudy weather when Ralts does get weather boosted, it can go all the way up to level 35, meaning 500 CP on the dot is the highest CP you could ever find a Ralts in the wild. And that is going to be a guaranteed 100% IV. Other than that though, there is 32 other 100% IV CPs you could be finding in Pokemon Go in the wild, but don't use this chart specifically, because even if you find a 160 69 CP, it could be like a higher level Ralts with worse IVs, bringing it down to that CP. So the best thing you can do is just catch as many as you can. Also joining a local Facebook group, a local Discord group, a local campfire group, where people will sometimes say, hey, I caught a hundo here, and you can go rush over and catch it for yourself, is another great way to try to get the hundos. But really the best thing, catch, and we'll cover some tips at the end of the video on how to catch efficiently. But you see, the 100% IV is a lie, because it's not always the best. Sometimes you want low attack, high defense, high stamina, and specifically for PvP in the Great League and the Ultra League, these IV sets are actually more optimal. The short reason why is because it just makes the Pokemon bulkier, but I will link below a video if you want to go more in depth on why that exactly is. But not all the low attack, high defense, high stamina IV sets are created the same. So what are the best ones to try to get for Gardevoir and Gallade in Pokemon Go? Starting with Gardevoir, the best possible IV set is exactly a 0-15-15 IV set. That's going to give you the highest stat product overall stats for PvP. But as you can see, anything low attack, high defense, high stamina works great. Like a 0-6-14 is still ranked 14. In the Ultra League, a 0-12-15 is going to be the best for Gardevoir. And in the Master League, of course, 15-15-15, the hundo is the best because there is no CP cap. If we want to jump over to Gallade, again, 0-15-15 is going to be the best IV set for the Great League. 0-12-15, so the same thing for the Ultra League. And the Master League, 15-15-15, and same thing goes with the Mega. You just want the highest possible IV set. So mark those down. But again, anything low attack, high defense, high stamina is really what you're going for. And don't worry about getting the exact rank one. Now, the best thing about Calm Days is getting candies for these Pokemon. You know, even if you have a bunch of Gardevoirs and Gallades already powered up, if we ever end up getting Dynamax Ralts or any sort of other versions of Ralts added to Pokemon Go, you might want to consider having enough candies for these Pokemon. So let's go through my best candy tips in Pokemon Go and how to grind a lot of candies during Calm Days like these, because having candy is never a bad thing. First of all, use Pineapple Berries. Regular Pineapple Berries multiply catch candy by 2 and Silvers by 2.34. Using Pineapple Berries on every Ralts you see is a very efficient strategy to get a lot of candy. You can also Mega Evolve a Pokemon. If you don't know, when you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, if you catch a Pokemon that's the same type as that Mega, you'll get more candy, XP, and XL candy for catching that Pokemon. So we want to make sure we're Mega Evolving a Psychic or a Fairy Mega during this event. That includes Mega Slowbro, Mega Alakazam, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Gallade, Mega Altaria, Mega Medicham, Mega Latios, Mega Latias, Mega Rayquaza, and Mega Diancie. Mega Evolve before you play Calm Day. Do not play Calm Day without one of these Megas Mega Evolved, specifically a higher level one, because the bonuses will be better. You can also trade away Pokemon. First of all, when you and a friend trade, it's a great thing to just re-roll IVs, because IVs get re-rolled when traded. So if you want to try to get a hundo Ralts or something like that, you can get you and your friend to catch a bunch of Raltses, mirror trade them. There's a pretty high odds that you could get yourself a hundo. And this is a very good trick as well by trading only male Raltses. If you want a good IV Gallade, you can really focus in on your hundo hunt for a Gallade by saying, hey buddy, only trade me male Raltses, because you want to make sure you have the male, because you can't evolve the female into Gallade. Trading is also good for grinding candies though. Every time you trade away a Pokemon, you'll get one regular candy. And as the distance between where those two Pokemon were caught is increased, you get more candy and even XL candy for trading Pokemon. So I highly recommend you trade away Pokemon for not only the candies, but also for re-rolling for IVs. You can also transfer Pokemon. Obviously, some of you might have storage problems, so you have to transfer Pokemon during the Calm Day. So a quick way to know that you're not transferring anything with good PvP IVs or good IVs is obviously do a 4-star check. But simply using a search thread like this on screen will quickly show you all your PvP potential IV Pokemon. You can favorite all these so you make sure you're not transferring them during the Calm Day. Once you have those favorited, you could use this search thread, which will quickly show you a bunch of Pokemon you might want to consider end up transferring. Now, obviously, if you have limited storage, using something like this and transferring during the Calm Day might be essential. But if you can wait and you really want to grind a lot of candies, waiting till January 28th from 6 to 7 p.m. is Yungu Spotlight Hour with the bonus of 2 times transfer candy. You can save any Raltses until then, transfer them then, but I understand a lot of people have limited storage, so you might want to just be transferring quickly during the Calm Day like I showed you. Now, if you don't know in Pokemon Go, to go from level 48 to 49, you actually need 35 Platinum Medals. And playing Calm Days like this are great times to really focus in on your Platinum Medals. Which ones should you be working on during this event? Obviously, the Fairy Tail Girl Medal, catch 2,500 Fairy types, and then the Psychic focused one is great because Ralts is a Fairy Psychic Pokemon. We have the Showcase Star Medal, win 100 Pokestop showcases. We have showcases during the event, so you can try your best to win them. Again, the ones outside of the city and the less populated areas are going to be easier to win. The Community Member, if you decide to show up to a Community Ambassador meetup, which I'll talk about in a second, could be a great one to work on. You have to attend 100 of those, and there's definitely some probably in your area during the Ralts Calm Day. With the quarter egg distance, the Breeder Medal, hatch 2,500 eggs, is another great one to go ahead and work on because it's going to be really, really easy. It's like 500 meters per 2-kilometer egg. The Pokemon Ranger, complete 2,500 field research tasks. They're very easy to complete on this Calm Day, so this is a great one to work on as well. We have the Snapshot Medal, have 400 encounters and go Snapshot. You can take a bunch of snapshots for Ralts to work on this medal. If you're going to be doing a bunch of trades, like we mentioned, the Gentleman Medal, trade 2,500 Pokemon, is another one you will be working on. We do have 3-hour lure modules, so the Picnicker Medal, use a lure module to help any train or catch 2,500 Pokemon, I always recommend you go to the busy area where everyone's going to be playing, be the first person to drop lures. It could be the basic purple lure, and people will be catching Pokemon off that lure, getting you points towards this. Now we do have the tiny Pokemon collector medal and the jumbo Pokemon collector medal. And remember earlier I told you to grind a lot of candies, because if you catch an extra small or extra large Ralts, not only can you use those in showcases, but you can actually evolve them to get you more points towards this medal. A extra large Ralts evolved into a Curly, into a Gardevoir, actually has 3 points towards this medal instead of just 1. So save those candies to evolve your extra larges and extra smalls. You'll probably be walking a bunch because you're going to be hatching eggs. So the Jogger medal, explore 10,000 kilometers. I actually just finally finished this medal, so I'm super excited about that. If you plan on walking a lot, you might be doing routes. So the expert navigator medal, complete routes 6,000 times, can be a great way to get some extra items from completing those routes, since you'll probably be hatching eggs. And if you are playing with your friends, the life of the party medal, complete 200 party challenges. You might as well work on this medal because you'll probably be with your friends during this calm day. Now remember earlier I talked about being efficient when catching Pokemon, and that's going to be the combination of using the quick catch technique, which will allow you to skip the catching animation, and Palkia's spatial rend ability. Let me explain. First of all, I highly recommend you watch my video below if you don't know how to use the quick catch technique. It is a technique everybody needs to know, probably the first thing every trainer should know, but in combination with the Palkia's ability spatial rend, which will double the spawn distance, allowing you to see 2 times the amount of Ralts, is an amazing technique during calm days to catch as efficiently as possible, grind as much Stardust, candy, XP, all that stuff. This is what the top players use. Don't sleep on it. Also highly recommend you set a buddy that's at least the great buddy level as your buddy, as anytime you might end up hitting a Ralts and it actually bounces off the Ralts, the great buddy can use the buddy bounce pack technique and it will throw that ball back at the Pokemon, saving you a Pokeball. Also recommend you download all assets. If you don't have all assets downloaded in the advanced section of your settings, I highly recommend you do this because it will take the graphics of the game from your phone instead of the Wi-Fi, making your gameplay much smoother. Also, if you do want to grind a bunch of Stardust and you have some money, following the 12-kilometer egg hatching technique can be a great one. The strategy involves you battling team leaders until you have exactly 12-kilometer eggs in your storage. You'll then incubate them all at the same time once the event started, because we do have quarter egg hatch distance, and you'll be able to hatch these very quickly. Now the thing about 12-kilometer eggs is they get you a lot of Stardust, specifically 3,600 to 6,400 Stardust per hatch, and you can multiply this on a star piece. So if you activate a star piece, you can be getting 100,000 Stardust for hatching 12-kilometer eggs, and you don't have to walk 12 kilometers because we have less egg hatch distance. However, there's also another way to drop your egg hatch distance. If you actually go to a community ambassador meetup and you check in, you will be given reduced egg hatch distance if you are in a party. And this bonus does stack with quarter egg hatch distance, so you can actually get even further than quarter egg hatch distance if you're in a party at a community ambassador meetup and you are checked in. So I highly recommend you do that, especially if you're going to be trying to hatch a bunch of eggs during this event. We did this during the Wild Area event. It was amazing. The good thing about the community ambassador meetups as well, once you do check in, is you do get a research, which will give you 4 options of paths you can choose to complete. I highly recommend you choose the connecting path, which will reward you with 1 free super incubator, or the catch path, which will give you a free incense and a free lure. Those are the best paths to follow if you go to a community ambassador meetup. They're definitely worth doing because you're going to be able to make plenty of new friends and also get a bunch of cool in-game rewards that will help you maximize on the event. Guys, if you learned something from this video, you will learn something from the video below, so I highly recommend you check that out. Let me know if you're going to be playing Ralts Community Day, or is this one going to be a skip for you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Follow for more tips. Peace.